Call the meeting to order.
Start, guys.
Did remember, first one, read the roll.
Councilman Pavoldi.
Here.
Councilman Jack Russo. Councilman Gray.
Here.
Councilman Mora.
Here.
Supervisor Esposito.
Present. Our attorney is running late. He's at court in Long Island. Texted me and said he's gonna be running late. Hopefully he'll get here by 7:30. Okay, can we all stand for the invocation? Nancy? Do the speakers.
Father God, we come before you tonight asking for your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment for those representing us to know your will for Princetown. We ask your peace and unity that only you can give. Thank you for working your will in our town. Bless those who represent us and their families. We pray, as your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We declare this for our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Department reports, highway.
Ralph had a water leak at his house, but he told me that they cleaned the ditch up on Willow Run. Put a couple culverts in people's driveways. That was from the springtime.
Oh, they got that done now?
He said they got it done. And that's it.
Okay. Any questions for, okay. Let's see, water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we made it. Our attorney's here. You want to speed more? Okay, from our water commissioner, gallons pumped 458,000, minimum, maximum daily use is 98,800, minimum daily use is 29,600, daily average 68,800. Work done on 8/1/24, the valve at the well house weren't working properly, they were not shutting down. Warner changed parts and replaced nuts and bolts to stainless steel. Valves are now in working order on 8/13. Valves at Ruger Drive tank were leaking. Warner changed nuts and bolts to stainless steel. Repairs were made and valves are in working order. General maintenance performed. He didn't fail to mention that we had a water main break on Labor Day weekend on Saturday. The same spot that was repaired probably 10 years ago. That was on Labor Day weekend on a Saturday. They were there most of the day, Leonard and Rick and Mike were there most of the day. That was across from Dodds, or right at Dad's property. So that was a major break. Water breaks just continue to happen. So, any questions? No? Okay.
We had two major leaks. We had a very difficult time finding them. We had to hire a private engineering firm to come in. It cost us $20,000 to find these leaks. We found them, we fixed them. And this is one of the reasons, and the reason I'm bringing this up is, a lot of people have talked to me and said, well, geez, my water bill's going up, and why is my water bill up? The reason we raised the water bill was just for this reason. We are trying to prepare ourselves for these eventualities. It's a good thing we did, because, we lost over 1 million gallons of water. Everything is fixed now, but these are the kinds of things that we need to have a robust reserve for. We can't wait to the last minute. The county bailed us out, was it 2-3 years ago? We were in big trouble. The county came in and bailed us out. We can't expect that every time. We have to do things on our own. So, while nobody likes paying any more for water, we're paying a little bit more, but that's one of the reasons why. So just so people understand that.
Thank you, Jim. Ben, got anything? Nick?
No.
No. Okay. Building inspector. Building inspector's monthly report, total permits 3, permits issued 3, permit inspection fees collected $1,559, building inspections 18, zoning review 1, fire inspection 0, final building inspection 0, certificate of occupancy 1, bank deposit $3,965.20, check to supervisor 0, checkbook balance as of September 10th, 2024, $5,218.19, working on planning and zoning needed, working on permit final inspections as needed, reviewing plans as needed, Thomas Barini, building inspector. Any questions? Jim?
No.
No.
Okay. We don't have anything from the assessor, do we?
Nope, and nothing from the court.
Dog control.
It's been quiet for dogs. Got a call about some peacocks over by your place. They're not yours, are they? You got peacocks running around?
Do I have one?
Run
Peacocks.
our whole neighborhood.
Our neighbor has a couple, and we thought-
Running around. Somebody calling about peacocks running around.
Oh. No, I don't have those.
You sure?
I'm positive of it.
Yeah, no. There's nothing. It's been quiet compared to early in the summer. It was crazy. Now it's been really quiet. So just the rabies clinic that Crystal's got all the details on for September. That's it.
Any questions? Jim? Ben? Okay. Now, let's see, buildings and grounds. I want to thank Jack over here, who came over and got the rope. I put the flags back up, as you can see. The flag for the thin blue line is up again, and the American flag is up again. So, see if we get any complaints about that now and again. We probably will, but I don't know why, because we certainly support our police departments. It seemed to go with the territory. Other than that, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but there was a water leak at the state police barracks. The hot water tank had to be replaced. That was done. I did get an email from the county. They said they were gonna come over and paint lines in our parking lot. Did you get that, Crystal?
Yeah, it was here at Town Hall. We just got it today. It
Yes.
came from the Board of Elections, actually, because they came and surveyed our location. So coming up in November, they just wanted to make sure everything was billable, visible. Let me see here. He didn't give a date. He just said as soon as possible. And they're just going to make sure that the handicap parking spots and accessible aisles are well labeled.
And he said he wanted to paint the lines and
Yep.
and do that?
Yep.
That's good. It won't
No
cost-
expense to us, but
No expense to the town. That's a plus. Okay, Crystal, you're up.
okay. I just wanted to give a reminder during school tax season that if you have any questions or concerns related to your school tax bill, you have to call the district Shawmut directly. I don't even have a copy of the bill. I don't even know the amount unless it goes unpaid and it's re-levied on your town and county tax bill. So there's been a lot of confusion about that this year. I just wanted to put that out there. We are also a DEC sales location, so as a reminder, you can come in for your hunting or your fishing license at the town clerk's office when we're open Monday through Wednesday between 9 and 4. The DEC did change to paper tags this year from those regular decal stickers that they printed out, so people have been very frustrated about that, but again, it's New York State for us. They're using our printer ink now instead of their own printer ink, so that's how it's working out. Also, there is a rabies clinic coming up at the end of September at the South Schenectady Fire Department on Rival Road. It's Saturday, September 28th. It is by appointment for cats, ferrets, and dogs between 10 and 12. You can register online at www.health.newyork.gov/go-to-clinic, or you can call 518-386-2818. That's it.
Is there any questions? Okay. And we don't collect the school taxes.
We don't know.
I hope everybody understands that. We don't collect.
Only if they they were unpaid, then they're re-levied on your county
Right,
accounting,
on
so
the
then we
county
could,
tax
so
bill.
that's where sometimes people
That's
get.
in January.
Correct.
Okay, public hearing, local law, amend the solar law. We didn't have a negative declaration. Town attorney, we have to write that up. Throw the attorney in it. So we can't vote on that tonight, but we can have the public hearing, I guess, if anybody else would like to speak on it. So we'll open it up at 7:13. Any takers on it?
Talking about the solar,
On the solar?
we have to, I'm guessing that we're still, up to this point, have to put this before the planning board. So the planning board's gonna have to review this, and then they give a recommendation to you.
And I know you mentioned that to me earlier, and I don't.
But I do have a couple of things with, since I got a copy of it, that Ben printed out, and, you know, thank you for you guys for working on this. And, you know, so, on a battery energy storage system that you have on this pen, you have one or more devices assembled together capable of storing energy in order to supply electric energy in the future. And he says that doesn't include 12-volt car batteries or electric motors. I don't know what the 12-volt car battery or electric motors has to do with that, because there's so many people that have batteries for a multitude of reasons, and motors don't store energy, they use energy. And when if you go into the next section, we have battery storage, battery energy storage systems, or major solar systems are not permitted in town. The committee agreed that we would do that until New York State came up with very safe rules for that. And as of July 26th, they did come up with those rules. I have that printed out if you like that. And the way that battery technology is going, as fast as it's going, for us to just blatantly say no battery storage would be kind of foolish, I think. Because we had a couple fires in the state when there's over 1,000 battery storage units in the state. So they do have, they did look that over. The committee did have their final draft of July 26th. So if you want to, we can change that to, if it makes people feel comfortable to follow New York State's safety protocol for battery energy storage. As you know, I think the buffer and screening to 25 feet is good. With the planning board having the ability to make it 100 feet, I think that's excessive. If you wanted to double it maybe to 50 feet, that's just something that, you know, that's my opinion. In those requirements of section F, where we have visual impact, the visual impact is good, except on the very end of the second line and third line, you have the general aesthetic environment. What is general aesthetic environment? How vague is that? That we would have to, if I'm writing a law, I would want something much, much clearer in the law than just general aesthetic environment. Section G, the deforestation, which DEC already has requirements for that. You have, there's no clear cutting facilities with trees more than 3 inches. I bought a couple props because I cleared fields, I brush hog, so I brought a couple props to show you. This is what a 3-inch. Anybody who's let their fields go for 2 or 3 years, this is normal. This would be brush hogged off. If you wanted to change that to a tree, which is, say, 6 inches, this is a tree. But this would be, New York State would already have that under DEC. So I think 3 inches is really overkill with that. So, just so people can see, people who don't maintain fields the way a lot of farmers do. And down in site disturbance, you have down here, no major solar energy systems shall be located above 700 feet along ridge lines or on hilltops. I think most of our towns over 700 feet. I'm not 100% sure with that elevation, but I'm pretty sure most of our towns over 700 feet. So I think we have to look at that again, if that's something we're gonna look at as far as elevations. When, you know, the planning board and town board, you know, looks at the law and wants to. Under groundwater testing, and fuel, using escrow account required herein, the town shall provide water testing for private wells. I don't know if that's a good idea that the town provides the water testing. That's just something the town would have to decide whether they want to take on that responsibility or have an engineering company or somebody like that take on that responsibility. Just a thought. And the use of herbicides shall be reviewed and approved by the planning board. We got a very talented planning board. They're very, very knowledgeable. I've been to plenty of planning board meetings. They review all the zoning board of appeals. They're very knowledgeable. But as far as the chemicals and stuff are concerned, I think we're better off with DEC or ag markets or rural. I don't know if the planning board should be the one to be reviewing what chemicals are used. But that's up to the planning board, that's just a thought. One of the other things, the decommissioning that we had. We talked about doing that and then having the decommissioning updated every 5 years. So I'd like to have that added into it if we, follow through with the decommissioning. So every 5 years, they can look and see what the cost would be to decommission it for the next 5 years and then have that much equity or a bond or whatever brought up to date. Because 30 years from now, or 20 years from now, or whenever these things are taken apart, the cost of decommissioning is going to be a little less different. And the sale of the property we have in this, that if they sell the property, change ownership, after 30 days after the sale, they should notify the town, the building inspector and the town. It would be my opinion that if they're gonna be selling, we do a minimum of 30 days before they sell. I would suggest 90 days before they sell, that they notify us that it's up to change hands, and that gives us an opportunity to maybe have the attorneys look it over and make sure that the people buying it understand that they have to hold the responsibility of the decommissioning and everything else that has to be done. Once they change hands, and it's 30 days later, I don't think we have, a chance to do anything without litigation. So my suggestion is we just add that and make it prior to 90 days prior to. I can give you a copy of my notes here. And again, when it comes to all of this, it's my opinion that we all worked on this. We didn't have enough time to do it, but we have a very talented planning board that can go over this and look it over and make their recommendations and give that to the town board for them to, decide. This is just one person's point of view of what we're doing now. So, but thank you.
Any others?
I got a couple of things I'd like to add. I agree with Jack on most of this stuff, but like sometimes we do not agree, but we are still friends and we'll deal with it. It is what it is. Couple of things that I looked in there and said, it would be nice that if the companies had to put fences in their plantings and screening up before they put their panels in. That way it's done, and when if they have to have that done before they put their panels in, you don't have to worry about going after them after the fact. And I'll use the 160 project as an example. If you drive down there, dead trees, it's a mess. So if that was done beforehand, they'd be established by now, you wouldn't have that problem. And like the point Ben kept making was that if you don't see these projects, you don't have the complaints. And you can use the Kelly Station Road as an example. Not able to see it so much, so you don't get as many complaints. I'd like to see ag and markets have some ability to do oversight during installation, as well as decommissioning. It's in there, but there's nothing in there about them doing initial installation. The example I'll use for that is the High Rivers project that was in the town of Florida. I was told that there was a number of times ag and markets shut that project down due to the fact that there was damage going on to the agricultural resources in there. The company made corrections and everything went on to completion. So I would say that doesn't cost the town any money, but it's an oversight to protect the agricultural integrity of the district. Along with water testing, I was told by a soil engineer that you should consider doing soil testing as well. Set it up so the company has to pay for it, but if you're not doing periodic soil testing, you will not know if the panels possibly were polluting or there was something coming from them. So they said that it would be a very smart idea to have soil testing included in the well testing, just to keep an eye on what's going on. I didn't see anything in there about fire department training. That's, something that I'm concerned about. It would be nice if we had early on so we knew what they were going to do, and then after the fact, when the project was done, how things are set up, and then every few years, updates. One of the things that needs to be done is there needs to be better enforcement of posting phone numbers and disconnect services, and we're supposed to have a Knox box on these things with keys so we can get in and shut down power at disconnect switches if need be. There's supposed to be numbers so we can contact the company. 2 weeks ago, I think it was, Washington Avenue in Scotia, solar farm there, they had a inverter explode and on fire, and it took them a while to find out who owned the solar farm field in order to get a representative. They also had one on Rice Road a few weeks ago, too, or a month ago. They had a fire in one of their inverters. And then, I don't know if you saw in El Segundo, they had a battery storage unit burn Thursday. Mm-hmm. So I've been told by experts that it's not a matter of if they'll burn, it's a matter of when. So you can keep that in mind when you're deciding battery storage stuff. Yes, the technology is changing, but they don't know. The one in El Segundo, they said that they had hazardous gases coming off the fire. The one up in Watertown, they said no. So you don't know who to believe anymore. They don't know. They don't know. And then my last thing is, and I know this is not the town board, but if these companies can come in and pay high rates of rent to landowners, they should be able to pay their fair share in taxes and not have payment in lieu of taxes. If they'd have to adjust it, if they're not viable, then adjust it so that the landowners don't get quite so much. But I'm not saying exorbitant taxes, but they should pay their fair share. I think the towns, counties, and state is getting taken advantage by this. The other thing that's coming up is on farms, are the town going back and taking the ag tax exemption off of the acreage where the solar panels are, because now it's an industrial facility. Other towns are looking back, they haven't done that, and now they're looking back and changing that. And that's causing a lot of problems. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Any others?
My name is Anthony Torrey. I live at 495 South Kelly Road. A couple of comments, some have been touched upon already. The deforestation, the issue about the no clear cutting of trees more than 3 inches in diameter. I can almost guarantee that that'll be challenged because there's just really no basis not to be able to cut the trees. And the issue of 5 acres of prime agricultural soils, that may be defined somewhere, but I don't think that's a sustainable requirement for this. Also, item I, no part of a major solar energy system shall be located above an elevation of 700 feet. That really much eliminates the town north of Route 7. The tunnel on Route 7 is 350. It doesn't take long at all to get up to 700. If you go west on Route 7, you're at 700 feet elevation within a mile. So really, this is eliminating 3/4 of the town from an elevation standpoint. And I'm sure it would be challenged. I can't imagine what the basis for that is. Groundwater testing, I guess that's a good thing. I'm not really sure what it's going to prove. I would imagine that would be challenged as well. In decommissioning section, there was no mention in this of the host agreement, and I'm wondering if perhaps decommissioning and the performance bond issues should simply be referenced to the town's host agreement. Also, the time period of 24 months before a decommissioning is started is too long, in my opinion. And also the performance bond issue, I think currently it's every 5 years. There was talk about making that more often. I would do it yearly because there's no reason why the town should be subject to 2 or 3% inflation if you wait, each year and not have it updated. They submit a new performance bond each year or surety. They ought to increase the amount according with the decommissioning inflation that is established in the host agreement. I also agree that the town should be notified prior to the solar system being sold. It would help us out a lot because we've had 2 systems. They've both been sold at least once, if not twice, and it's hard to keep track of who's actually the owner. So I think we should know in advance that they're being sold. And one last point, I think there should be a monetary penalty included in this when there's infractions of the state, federal, or local laws. What we've seen in the last couple is we find something that's wrong with this code enforcement or our engineer or the planning board. We go to them and ask them to fix it. It takes weeks upon weeks to get fixed. And it should be something that they fix in 7 days or you owe the town X amount of money. So anyway, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Any others?
So before you close, I don't know if any changes, based on the comments, or have to keep something similar. They're gonna make changes. start then. Start again. If you're gonna make changes.
I understand what you're saying. If we're gonna make changes over here, we gotta start all over again.
Just a public hearing open to next meeting, is that?
Well, if you make substantial changes, I'd probably just start over and do a fresh public hearing with a fresh law. If you're not gonna make substantial changes, I would leave it open for the referral to the planning board.
Constitutes substantial. Yeah.
This is gonna go on for another,
Well, they made some good points, I can see
Yeah.
a lot of that.
I understand the 700.
But I don't know if, I wouldn't consider them major changes. Well, what, in other words, just keep the public hearing open?
Well, if you're gonna make major changes, I would just close it and start it again
Oh, all
from
right.
scratch when you get the new draft. Because, I gotta send it to the county to look at. If it's substantially different than what we send to the county, it just could cause problems. If you're not gonna make substantial changes, then I would just keep it open
So,
and refer it as is to the public, to the planning
so
board.
what defines a substantial change?
There's no right line for that. I don't know what changes you're thinking you're gonna
Well,
make.
the tree thing makes sense, I think.
Well,
3
yeah.
inches is
well, then we
too
gotta
small.
do this whole thing
And
all
doing it
over.
above, and doing it before they sell the property, I can relate to that too. Because
Yeah.
after the fact, now it's done.
Right.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna make all of these changes?
Well, obviously, the planning board, yes?
We'll work on that, okay?
Our committee appointments are over, so you gotta
Well,
start
then we'll
everything.
be going on for another few months, or 3 or 4. I thought this was what the committee was all about, that they were gonna have this all resolved, and we were gonna vote on it.
Yeah, but we have the public hearing and people have,
Well, then if you wanna continue it on, then we gotta put another moratorium on it, for another, because it'll be another 4 or 5 months.
No, we wouldn't do that.
No, it ain't gonna be that.
Well, who's gonna make the changes? What committee is gonna do it? Then it's gonna come back again to a public hearing, and then we're gonna have the same thing all over again. There's gonna be dissension amongst the people that this should be done or that should be done. That's what you
Well,
want.
that doesn't matter at that point, because we don't have to go with that, but honestly, these people made some good points. that
Yeah, I
should
mean,
be had.
it seems like the changes are the 700 feet, I understand.
Yeah, I could relate to
The
that.
size of the trees.
Yeah,
I like the monetary penalties, I think that's a good idea.
yeah.
Switching from 30 days after to 90 days before. I mean, they seem like minor
Yeah,
changes. This
yeah.
isn't, a big.
You still have, whatever changes should probably run by the council for this. If I'm not the council for the solar law, I don't know if that person's still working
No, I
with you.
think we've exhausted that money.
But you should probably run changes
Maybe
by.
Doug would look at it, Doug Cole, but.
You could do that too.
Why can't we just write in what they just said and go with it?
Because we don't know what we don't know. I don't know without counsel, without talking to an attorney who does solar, or at least Doug Cole. I don't know if a change you're making is gonna cause other problems. I'm not your attorney on the solar, so I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Well, all this stuff is
nothing
from,
you might wanna do.
I know people bring up that it would get maybe legally challenged, but all of this is from other municipalities. To the best of my knowledge, none of this has been challenged yet, not to say that it wouldn't, but it hasn't at this point. To me, the changes would be minor. I don't think it's,
I feel they're minor, and honestly, they're valid.
yeah.
If you think you're gonna make minor changes, then I would keep the public hearing open, refer it to the planning board. Still has to be referred to the county, because I can do that because we did the agency last meeting anyway.
Right.
So I would just keep it open.
Hindsight. Foresight.
I'm gonna keep the point.
So it's gonna end up being 2 more months is what it is. Right? I see 2 months. It's gonna happen next month.
It's not gonna happen a month after, it's gotta go to the county. But they don't react that fast.
Now, the county usually get back within 30 days.
Usually it does.
So we're gonna keep it open, keep the hearing open.
Yeah, it's not a lot, it's not a lot of big changes.
All right, well, Jack's gonna give you a ready throw, right? And then Nelson, you're gonna give
So what do
him,
you wanna do? We have to have a
Couple
resolution
months.
to put a moratorium on this again?
Well, that's a separate question if you want to do that.
well, yeah, because technically it's the old law yet, correct?
Well, let's do it one at a time. You want to do a motion to keep the public hearing open first?
Yeah.
So let's have that motion, if anybody wants to make it.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Crystal?
Councilman Capoli.
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo.
Yes.
Councilman Gray.
Yes.
Councilman Mora.
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Yes, resolution passes.
Just so I'm clear, that was a resolution to keep it open?
Yes.
Public hearing is open.
We never closed it.
Come
Just-
back to the moratorium when you get to your,
Okay, we're gonna do the moratorium.
if you want to, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to. Moratorium is up, it's been up now for almost 2 months.
I don't think we've had any projects come to the town.
Pardon?
I don't think there's been any projects that
No.
have come to the town.
No, there might be.
Yeah.
You never know. If they come, they're gonna be down here.
How long do you want to extend it? The moratorium?
Moratorium,
It's
well,
not in place right now, there's nothing to extend, it would have to.
Yeah, we'd have to put a new moratorium in.
they're only 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we really need a moratorium, when there's no projects.
For what, let it go then?
Yeah, and we'll fix it within the next
Couple
2
months.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all right?
Planning board's got a meeting in a couple of weeks. You guys get those recommendations, they're gonna review it, add it to it. We get it.
Yeah,
I think get it done, well, it's gotta go to the county.
yeah, so you close the
Well,
public,
technically, it's gotta go to the county after we say, yeah, okay, right?
which would be next meeting.
Month, right? Okay, so by November, we can pass it.
I'm not gonna be able to look
We don't need you. No, I'm serious. We're not gonna fight the thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you want the solar committee to meet again, you would have to
No, it ain't
just give
necessary.
us one meeting, I don't know, it's not.
It's not necessary.
We could, all depends on what, if you're gonna give to the planning board, if you wanted to go as a solo committee or as representation to the planning board, we can talk to the planning board and.
Because it expired,
Where's the
it's gonna be
draft?
subject to another public hearing though. Because the time already expired. When you go to have new legislation for the new moratorium, it's gonna be subject to another.
We're not gonna do
Yeah,
more.
we're not gonna do
You
a
know, we need to-
Oh, understand.
Yeah.
And the public hearing's open yet. so
That's fine.
That's one.
Probably the way to go.
People can get up and talk about it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If you don't do another moratorium and someone comes in, it's the current law they have to meet. Okay.
Yeah, we think we'd have to have a public hearing to have a moratorium, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So if we're gonna only take
No,
2
it-
months anyway,
Yeah. We gotta get this over. Yeah, we gotta get it done, and I'll come for the recommendations.
Can I ask a question? Are you gonna have a planning board for us to go to?
Yeah, the way it's looking, you got the bolts and get rid of it, so.
Okay. Any others for us? Okay, we'll close the public hearing up on that.
No, we're not close.
Oh, that's right.
Pass.
I'll hold it up until whether it's gonna stay open. We need a resolution on that?
So it'll just be on next month's agenda again.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Proposed law and planning board resolution. This will, we'll open that up at 7:41. Any takers? I think Anthony, Corey wanted to speak, but he just went to the bathroom.
Go ahead, Dave.
Any others?
When is this open for? Planning board. Abolishing the planning board.
Abolishing the planning board, which isn't gonna happen.
My name is David Knuddy, and I live at 1209 Pembroke Road. I'm a member of the planning board. I do not support the motion to eliminate the planning board. I called the Association of Towns and discussed this with them, and they recommended that did not like the planning board to be eliminated, and they did not support the idea. I think the input from the 7 members and Doug Cole and the friends and neighbors are very important. Examples of this are, like, everybody asks me what's going on with the gas station on Pangburn Road. Here's another example, that there was an error on the map for the subdivision on the Gifford Church housing development was approved by Doug Cole. A member of the planning board brought it to the attention of the planning board that the neighbor's driveway was part of the subdivision property. So therefore, the neighbor did not own the property that his driveway was on. So this kind of input is important. We get it from all the planning board members, their friends, neighbors, etc. The developer could have came in and just bulldozed their driveway away. What happens if Doug Cole gets sick? Can the town afford his extra bills? And will we need a town tax in the future? And for the town board, the members must have 4 hours of training for planning board purposes. Does the town board members have the time to address all these issues? I really don't think you do. So, thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Any others? Anthony, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, very briefly, I mean, I think it would be a mistake to abolish the planning board. It's as simple as that. I think the input of citizens, along with government officials who write the laws, at least the town laws, along with, and then having people who live in the town look at these, along with attorney advice, engineering advice. I think it really, the future of the community really should be shared, the responsibility should be shared between citizens with guidance and town who makes the laws. Also, I'm on the board since 1983, and comments have been made about bickering between board members during public meetings and such, and I would say that bickering is the wrong word, differences of opinion. I mean, I think when the 5 of you discuss certain subjects, there's certainly differences of opinion. It may sound as bickering to someone sitting in the audience, but I can honestly say that other than a few exceptions of over the last 40 years where chairpersons have let their personal feelings maybe influence them in some of what they stated or what they required of applicants, which was quickly dismissed. I've really seen no major bickering or arguing between the members. I think everybody I've seen on it really tries to do a good job and is sincere in their efforts to do the right thing case by case. And also, we do very much consider the time of applicants and their engineering costs, and wherever we can waive anything, which is allowed by us in subdivision and a little bit on site plan, we have done that in the past. State and federal laws, they are what they are, and we see that they're enforced, or at least they're applied to the applicant on a case-by-case basis. And again, we have an engineer and attorney help us in that. So I really hope that the town doesn't abolish the planning board. I think it's a good thing to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Any others?
Quickly, Doug Thorpe, I've been a member of planning board since around 98. I spoke my piece a couple of months ago. I am in opposition of eliminating the planning board. We all do what's good for the townspeople. We reviewed, we've spent a lot of time collectively with all these townspeople who represent on the planning board. So, I think you need to take a good hard look at it. We all do what's right for the people of the town, and, we have, their best interest in when we're making the decisions on reviewing their project. So, quickly, just, I'm in opposition of the town eliminating the planning board.
Any others?
Jennifer Blessing, 1237 Gifford Church Road. I'm going to reiterate a few things that I've said previously. One of which is I believe that there is not a clear understanding of how much time and energy goes in by each of these members of the planning board. The statement that is made in one of these attachments today that there's not much work involved is false. You don't attend the meetings, you don't understand how much time is involved. We have spent, let's see, the last 4 months, we've spent 3 of them, at least 2 hours in meetings, plus the homework that's being done before and after those meetings. Between that and what Dave brought up about the training that's required to be a planning board member, that's an awful lot for the town board to take on. The other thing is, as adults, we always tell our children, let bygones be bygones. Whatever happened in the past is in the past, let's move on. This group works very well together. We understand that we have differing opinions at times, but we agree to disagree. And we find some kind of middle ground in some cases so that we can at least move forward, or somebody will abstain and we, go based on votes. But we need to look at this like a business. You have not given a clear rationale, monetary or otherwise, as to why to dissolve this group, except for personal vendetta. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any others? Okay, we close the public hearing up on that at 7:49.
Yeah, before you close that. Conversation that you're not moving forward with that, I don't know if you're done moving forward with it, I would leave those on to refer to the planning board, if you're not.
Dissolution.
Right, I'm just hearing that maybe it's not moving forward, or close, but if you're thinking you're gonna move forward with it, I would hold it open, because I think we have to refer that to the planning board also.
Okay.
But if you're not planning to move forward,
Well, if we move forward with it, I'm not in favor of the town board taking this over.
I'm not either.
I'm not in favor of the town board. If you wanted to move the duties of the planning board over to the zoning board, which we can do, that would be something different. But as far as the town board taking the duties over, I'm not in favor of that at all.
Most of us have been on the planning board at one time or another. I know I have. I think everybody has.
So has Nick.
Except I don't-
He's been on
have you
it,
ever
too.
been? I've been here at 11 o'clock at night some nights, just years ago. I don't want to do that. I can't do that. I don't, so I'm not interested in doing the planning board work. As a
No,
town
I'm not
board.
interested in doing planning board work. I got enough to do worrying about the state police, the water, and the town hall on that. I don't have time for it. So I'm not in favor of it. Like I said, if you wanted it to dissolve the planning board and have the zoning board do it, which a lot of towns have done across the state, that's something different. As far as the town board assuming the responsibilities, I'm not in favor of it. You got it?
Drop it then. There's no point in getting rid of it and putting it on the zoning board that accomplishes nothing. And there's nothing. to
Well,
do with
the
personal.
only thing it does is eliminate the cost, whatever the cost is for the planning board. Now we'll be down to 5 members as opposed to 8 like we have right now.
The cost wasn't ever the major issue involved. I'm almost thinking that at this point, we should just drop.
That's fine with me, that's what she's wanting to do. Like I said, I'm not in favor of the town board taking over the responsibilities. Like I said, I personally don't have the time for it. got
I
too much
don't,
to
I've done the
do
job
over
and I
there,
don't have the time for it.
Especially with this water system. I'm on every one of these water main breaks like we had Labor Day weekend. I'm not in favor of it at all at this point. I know, Nick, you were in favor of doing this. You got anything to say about it?
It was just about bureaucracy. 15 years ago, I wanted to do it. And nothing to do with personal issues at all, just has to do with big government. Yeah, in order to downsize government, you need to start on this level. But yeah, like you said, it makes more work for the rest of us. So you guys don't want it, so just drop it.
Doug?
Whatever you want to do.
Ben?
Drive it. Yeah.
Jim?
I would say that we should just drop it. I don't think we should prolong this any further. Like I said, most of us, with the exception of Ben, have been on the planning board. I've been here, you know, late nights, this is going back years ago, but I'm sure they're still here. Nobody's here, but we used to be here sometimes till 10 o'clock at night. I don't want to do that, let's put it that way. I just don't want to be involved in that.
Well, Chairman, I don't want to assume the responsibilities. Like, I've got too much to do over there with the town, taking care of these two buildings and doing everything else with it. And it's got nothing to do with personalities, as someone stated. It's got nothing to do with personalities. I just thought, too, that if we were going to do that, we would save the town some money because we don't have a tax base over here. And as far as in lieu of taxes, I'll bring that up too. We don't have taxes in this town, so we can't do in lieu of taxes. We've got nothing to say about that. We don't have a town tax. And as far as I'm concerned, during my tenure, which is going to be up in 13 months, I got no intentions of ever supporting a town tax.
I would resign first.
And
That's my opinion of it.
And what the next town board wants to do, or the next supervisor wants to do, that's up to them, but I'm not gonna be in favor of any town tax. I do everything I can to try to save money in the town as opposed to spending money. And I know most of the people on this town board do the same thing. Nick uses his equipment, Doug. I don't even have a town cell phone. As a supervisor, I use my own personal vehicles to go to meetings, as I did 2 weeks ago in Albany for a DOT meeting, which I attend quarterly. I never put in for mileage. I know most of the people on the town board don't.
Not one of us have ever put a nickel in for fuel or mileage for any task we've had to do.
No.
Doug down in the end and Nick have used their machines, which require diesel fuel, and they haven't even given us, one time we had to insist because it was so many hours with a diesel machine, but, you know, that we try to keep our the taxes low, so we don't have to have a cow tax. Do the best we can.
So planning board stays.
So-
Planning board stays?
Pardon?
Planning board stays?
Planning board stays.
All right. Thank you.
Do we do that through a resolution, or is it just? the
This
public
is-
hearings-
What do you do?
No, we just
It just died, it just died.
Okay.
Thank you.
You had previously said you closed it at 7:49. You want to talk about that, or you want to wait till
Just
the-
close it, yeah.
Can you vote on that?
We'll just close the public hearing.
We're just closing the public hearing at,
You did it already.
Yeah, you closed it at 7:49,
Yeah.
that we discussed, so I didn't know if
I
you wanted
cast
to.
out.
Okay, so you want to make it official and read,
we
Yeah,
have
you just close it.
okay.
Okay. Next on the agenda, resolutions over here. Meeting minutes. It's hereby resolved the meeting minutes of August 13th, 2024, regular town board meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Second. Crystal?
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jacobowski? Councilman Gray? Councilman Moore?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. What's this over here? Interest declaration.
It's for the soul.
Do we have to do that? We'll keep it on.
Lead agency one for solar, we have to do,
It
yeah.
should have been done last week.
There's,
There was one ahead of that.
And it's here, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Princetown hereby declares the town as lead agency under 6 NYCRR Part 617 regarding the proposed local law known as the Solar Energy Facilities Law and the applicable amendments to the town and zoning code of the town of Princetown. Discussion? Is there a motion?
What are we doing? This is to be lead agency on the solar law.
That's what we have.
We're not lead agency?
We didn't do that last week.
Oh, okay,
That's why we couldn't vote on it.
all right, I'll make a motion.
Ben made the motion, you can
Oh, Ben
second.
made a motion, I'll second.
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jackarusa?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Moore?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes.
You may want to add a motion to refer the proposed solar law to the planning board for report and recommendation.
Okay, we need that too.
Do we record these if I speak, or should I talk slowly so you can take notes?
It is recorded, but if you could say it loud enough, so that Ben catches.
So we need a resolution to,
Yeah, just, we need a motion to add a resolution to refer the proposed local law to be known as the Solar Energy Facilities Law and the applicable amendments pursuant to section 10.4B of the zoning law to the planning board for report and recommendation.
Is that after we make these minor changes?
No, you're referring to the proposed law that was already put forward.
So,
They can make their changes. You can wait until you're to make your final changes, or you can.
okay, so we couldn't change.
so they're gonna review it and
You
then
can work on
and
changes.
give it back to the town board.
And that would be sent to them, or
No, no.
it would have to be this one?
You're referring to them what's already been proposed. They can make recommendations, you can make changes now. Eventually, we got to come up with the final one to vote on, but they can all go at the same time.
So I can't like eliminate the 700
Well,
feet
you can start to make changes, yeah.
and send that as well?
No, you don't need to send it. You're sending them the proposed law, they're going to report, make recommendations. You may ignore all the recommendations, you may want to make further changes when you're.
They're gonna write them recommendations in, the 700 feet and all that.
Yeah.
So
Can I
you-
make a
That's what
suggestion?
we want to
Am I allowed to talk or no? Could,
So that's what we want to do. We'll have a resolution to,
This is just a resolution to
to
refer to the planning.
Refer it to the planning board, okay.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
You want to read it?
Not right
Well,
now.
he just, Gerard just did, didn't he?
He read it, Gerard read it.
Second.
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jackarusa?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Moore?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes.
Now I would do a resolution to remove the next resolution from the agenda, since it has to do with the planning board resolution, based on your earlier discussion.
You ready for Chris?
Yep, resolution to remove lead agency declaration for the planning board local law from the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Chris?
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jackarusa?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Moore?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Town Board 2025 Budget Workshop. It is hereby resolved that the town board schedules a budget workshop meeting to discuss the 2025 budget figures. The date and time is. Pick a couple dates.
Don't we usually meet before the next meeting?
Yes. Anytime between tomorrow and the next meeting. By the next meeting, we have to present the preliminary budget and call for the public hearing on the preliminary budget.
When's the public hearing?
You're going to call for it at the October meeting.
Next meeting.
When are we in Boston? When?
21st,
So I can't do it the 21st, but almost any other day.
Of October.
No, September.
It has to be before October 8th.
That's the preliminary date, right?
But we need to have the document together by next meeting because we call for the public hearing on it. So by October 8th.
Okay. I'm open at any time. Just this November, I'm tied up on one meeting.
Well, why don't we set a date in September, and then if somebody can't make it, we can adjust it.
Pick a date.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Calendar, I mean, what,
Wednesday, they have court here.
We'll go the 25th.
the 25th,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, the 21st.
So I'm available from the 25th, so any day other than the 25th will be in Boston.
You guys okay with the 19th? It's a Thursday.
Is what?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday, the 19th?
Yeah,
that all right?
that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That your planning board isn't, Anthony, the 19th is not the planning board meeting, is it?
It's the fourth Thursday, I don't have a calendar.
That's the third Thursday.
The one after.
That's the third Thursday is the 19th.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine with me. What time, 6 o'clock? Is that good enough for you?
Yeah.
The 19th?
Yes.
19th at 6 o'clock. Yeah, that's fine.
Jim, is that good for you?
Yeah.
Doug? Okay, that's when it is, the 19th.
What time?
6. That's the sep- that's the 19th. of this month.
Who?
6 PM, September 19th.
Crystal, that's
We need a motion.
September,
Yep.
September 19th.
We need a motion for the meeting. I'll make the motion that we meet Thursday, the 19th, budget meeting, 6 o'clock.
Second.
Okay, Crystal.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Councilman Mora? Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. General funds claim, hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 161 through 172 in the amount of $18,030.08. Discussion? Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Water funds claim, hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 74 through 84 in the amount of $28,920.81. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Also.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 10 through 11, the amount of $10,408.11. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it, Crystal.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Privilege of the floor. Every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the course of the meeting, referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business. Although there is no official time constraint, speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor at each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into discussion with a person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the course of the meeting referred to as council members' comments. Privilege of floor is opened up at 8:05.
Nora Carnival, 3012 Pangburn Road. I am a planning board member. Really short and sweet. Lou, you have attended some of our meetings. I would like to invite any and all of you to come and see how we work and how we get along and work through problems. Maybe that would help some of the tension between your board and ours. But please come. We would love to have any of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Good evening, town board, town members, residents. My purpose for here tonight is to seek the consideration of the town board to enact a noise ordinance for the town of Princetown. Maybe a sticky point, but all of the other, except for Duanesburg, municipalities around us have one. And over the last 2.5 years, we've been experiencing a lot of issues with some new neighbors that moved in. Loud music, all times of night, loud cars, general inconsiderations towards your neighbors and stuff. We've tried to resolve these with conversations and stuff, and we seem to get yes to death in regards to what we're asking for and stuff. So we really would like to see some type of ordinance in place where a law, an officer of the law can come and follow. We had an incident at 12:30, 2.5 weeks ago, where the state trooper that came at a request said, there's not much I can do because there's no town ordinance. He goes, I will go and talk to them, but they don't necessarily have to comply. And I said to the trooper, I said, you're listening to this, right? Would you put up this next to your house? He goes, absolutely not. He goes, like I said, I'll go talk to him. So we've been through a lot with these people. We tried a lot of resolve, and we've got zero cooperation. Every time we think we got some, it goes back. And when I tell you that this music and these get-togethers are loud, I'm telling you, you've heard nothing. Last Wednesday night, I was finishing up golf at Briar Creek. My poor wife called me and said, they're at it again. And I walked outside of Briar Creek with another member of my golf league, and he said, that music's coming from your house? I said, yes, it is. He goes, oh my God. And I even think Doug one time said to me what was going on over your house. He was at his sister's on Quackenbush Road and could clearly hear the music way over there, a country mile. So without going into it anymore and stuff, would you guys consider a noise ordinance, and what do we have to do to get one going?
Just so you know, we can't respond. It's privilege of the floor, so we can't
Okay.
respond.
Any advice in regarding the process?
Again, we can't respond.
You gotta wait for the next section for them to respond.
The next section.
Council member
Okay.
comments.
Councilman O'Connor.
Thank you.
Would you like to state your name for the record?
Jeff Siler, 342 Parker Shores.
Are you is this the last house on the right that you're talking about?
Correct. Just before the power lines.
Gotcha. That was just sold a couple years ago.
Yeah, Diamonds moved away.
Okay, any others?
I got a couple things. Doug Thorpe, I live up in the north part of town. Tomorrow's 9/11, so I wanted, pay my respect here. I created the 9/11 memorials in '01 and 9/11/11 and 9/11/21. Tomorrow's 23 years, so bow my head for a second there. And we're all 9/11. Second thing, what most people in this town don't know, up in the north part of town, there's a fellow who lives on my road. His name is Robbie Lawrence. I don't know if anybody knows Robbie Lawrence. Robbie Lawrence races snowmobiles, and he's been a 3-time national champion. This past weekend, he went up to North Branch, Minnesota, and he beat all the factory teams. He beat all the teams from Canada. Little Robbie Lawrence on Reynolds Road in Marieville, building his little snowmobile out of his garage. He won against all the factory teams across America and Canada. And it's a big to-do, and if you follow that type of racing. But I wanted to come up and tell you, Robbie, is an inspiration in this town. And most people don't know Robbie, but he's a great guy, and he's my neighbor. So I want to give a shout out to Robbie Lawrence for not only winning the 3 last national champions, but beating everybody in the world last weekend in North Branch, Minnesota.
Thank you, Doug. Any others?
Got a bunch of repeat customers tonight.
Jennifer Blessing, 1237 Gifford Church Road again. I just want to say thank you for reconsidering the dissolution of the planning board. We all appreciate it, those of us who are here tonight, to show our, community. The other thing I did want to mention is you were talking about the idea of the zoning board along with planning board. And we know that that is what Altamont chose to do for different reasons. Our zoning board has not met very much over the last several years. I think once in the entire time I've been on planning board, unless I'm mistaken, and that's because we asked that they needed to meet. But that is something possibly to look at. Don't know, it might take care of some issues in terms of who's gonna be the lead of the committees and things along that nature, but wanted to throw it out there and know the rest of the members did not know I was gonna say that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Any others?
Can you still make a comment about solar panels?
I just think I'm concerned about the comment. My name's Linda Gaddis, and I live on Scotchridge Road. And with the idea of the battery storage, I have a number of friends that are experts with this whole electric solar farm type thing. And especially in a community, a rural community that can't handle the fires. To think there's only been a couple of fires in New York State is like, that there's been a lot of fires. There were 2 just within the last week in Rotterdam that most people didn't even know happened. So battery storage is not meant to be in a rural community especially when, I mean, they're lucky if you have a fire department in Rotterdam that might be able to handle it, but in our community, they can't handle those fires. So the battery storage does not need to be in this community. And that's all, everybody I've spoken to that knows about it have recommended not to have battery storage allowed. So I just wanted to, I didn't plan on saying anything tonight, but the battery storage is a really sore subject. So that's all I'm gonna say tonight. There's some more stuff I could say about trusting New York State and what they say should be done, especially when they found a communist Chinese spy in Hochul's administration that writes policy. I don't know that we can trust them when they're writing policy for industrial infrastructure, that most of the components are made from China. I think we need to start to think about those type of things too. So that's all I have to say tonight.
Thank you, Linda. Any others? Okay. Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna say something, you guys raised it, and I never thought about it before. Well, I have thought about it, but town tax, and everybody's probably gonna boo me. But I've been attending town board meetings, or at least knowledgeable of what's going on since the early 80s when I moved here. And there's a lot of people who have sat in the chairs, and a lot of people who sit there right now, spend a lot of their extra time, say don't take money for travel and those types of things. And Nick, your dad did all kinds of things. I know you have too, and others have as well. And it's Democrat, Republican, doesn't seem to matter. There's been people who have done things, but to expect that to continue, I'm not sure that's going to happen. And I think you really got to consider what you're not able to do and what a town tax, small town tax, might allow you to do. And that's kind of the reason I threw in that thing about the penalties in regards to the solar infractions. Anyway,
know a lot of towns up in the rural area, Adirondacks, I had some projects up there, and I don't think there's any that don't have some type of town tax. I could be wrong, and I don't know all of them, but it's something that, as a taxpayer, I don't think would be unreasonable to me to have an amount if you could do things and not rely on your elected officials to go way out of their way and do things. Anyway, that's enough. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. Any others? Okay, we'll close the purpose of the floor up at 8:19. Okay, council members' comments or concerns, then?
To expand on what Linda said, I kind of agree that even though New York State has some guidance with battery energy storage, they're still catching on fire. And I don't know what amount of fires is acceptable, but I would assume it would have to be 0 before we would allow it in the town. As they continue to not be safe, I agree. Just for now, keep battery energy
Well, we
storage.
do have that in the law that we're going
Yeah,
to eliminate battery storage, so.
yeah. I don't know any other industry where you have an acceptable amount of.
Before, we all agreed on it, we didn't want
Yeah.
battery storage, so.
I tried for a noise ordinance years ago. Good luck. The community's not really receptive for a variety of reasons, so, but I get it. I know what you're talking about. I get how frustrating it is, and I have a lot of sympathy. It does get better eventually. That's what happened to me, so it may take many years, but, but I do understand. I think that's it.
Jim?
Yeah, in regards to the noise ordinance, it has come up many times. In fact, one of our own council members here really made a big effort, it was a couple of years ago, to get that squared away. Part of the problem is we have no enforcement power. We don't have a police department. There is a sheriff here and a state police, but we don't have authority or jurisdiction over it. So that is a bit of an issue. And it's come up many times. And in fact, didn't we, did we have one years ago?
Not that I recall, not long.
I think the only thing we had was the dog law has something with barking in it.
There's a ordinance for no barking after 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm
They
not
had-
opposed to revisiting it and looking at it again, but
Yeah, but wait, they're talking more about disturbance of the peace more than the noise ordinance. These people are disturbing the peace.
so that's a legal issue.
And the law enforcement in the town is looking for guidance. They're literally telling me there's not much we can do because there is no noise ordinance or anything in place.
We don't have anything for
put
disturbance of the
something
peace.
smart in place.
We have no law ordinance, or no noise ordinance right at the moment.
Yeah, but a noise ordinance wouldn't cover these people are disturbing the peace. It has nothing to do with how loud they are.
I think their argument is when music is so loud, I'm assuming you can hear it through your whole house, right?
Obviously.
Feel it.
You ever feel a brick house shake?
Yeah.
You can literally feel the thumping because they amplify the bass and they
Yeah.
point those amplifiers into the garage, which reverberate back out.
And some of this is coming out of cars,
Yeah.
let alone what they have in their house, and they live their whole life with how many watts they can put this all through. So, not to be facetious, but it's just old, and trying to resolve something like this has been fruitful on our part, and that's why we're looking for some relief.
I sympathize with you because I can't stand noise. Where I live, thank goodness, it's quiet and peaceful, but I appreciate what you're saying. It's gotta be a nightmare.
When I hear a tractor,
I think Nick makes a good point. Penal Law 240.20 is disorderly conduct, and it specifically talks about making unreasonable noise. So I wasn't there for your conversation with the police, but I don't know that's to blame the town. They have laws that they can enforce without us passing a law.
The New York State laws, right?
New York State penal law.
Yeah.
So it is through the troopers as opposed to the sheriff.
I certainly think the police have a right to act on it if they think it violates the statute.
They call the
Did
state.
you call the sheriff?
The sheriffs can come and do the same.
and this piece of paper has all the verbiage of all of the towns and municipalities around us how they've crafted it to work for them. I don't care if a tractor goes by my house at 11 o'clock at night. I said, no, I say I live in America, but this stuff that we're talking about, after a 12-hour day, you know, and you want to sleep at 11:30 at night and that's when it starts, I mean, I really would like something that we can follow, that the troopers can follow, that the sheriffs can follow. I can still keep calling them, and they can come over and they can go talk to them and stuff, but they're literally going over there and hoping that they comply in a sense. And talking to some of the sheriffs, we get these calls all the time in the city of Schenectady, and we bring down no less than 3 officers because there's always violence. They don't want to be told what to do. They've been drinking. It's not so much the case here, but it's an ongoing problem, and it's moved right next door to me. And I know I'm just one person, but I could have 20 signatures in a heartbeat with people describing the same thing as to what's going on with them. And again, 342 Parkers, if you can hear this at the 19th hole, you got to imagine how loud this is.
What was the state police response when they went over there? Did they say that?
He talked to me
they
first.
stopped?
Yeah, he talked to me first, and he said, there's not much I can do. And obviously I got a little bit smitten
Well,
about it.
obviously they can do something.
So anyways, he did,
They're
saying. He went over and he did ask them, and they did comply. They made a whole bunch of noise after he left, and then, but they did comply. Overall, they stopped. So.
So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
With that?
Keep doing this. Wait, no, what's wrong with these people?
I can't tell you, I'm not a psychologist.
Are they partying? Are they high? What are they doing?
They're from other countries, and this is a norm for their culture and their get-togethers. So, not bringing that into the thing, like I said, I'm a live and let live
And
kind
they're
of guy.
doing it every
but-
night?
No.
No, but there's been a few Sunday afternoons when it's been deafening, and then, again, starting at 11:30 at night, most of us are trying to get a good night's
Well,
sleep.
obviously, the police can do something about it. Maybe we should contact the sheriff's department, and I know quite a few of the sheriffs.
Yeah, the sheriffs are
Same.
A
responding.
better response than state
Yes.
police.
Okay.
State police are traffic enforcers. That's what they are. They're not really.
Yeah, and I hate to have to keep dialing this up because it, like, they'll come and stop it, but it doesn't solve my problem. And with them having an understanding, and, you know, again, multiple talks, they yes you to death. They don't necessarily do what you're asking or comply with respect. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Hopefully you guys can see my point where we might be able to meet this and
It's different too when it's a one-off party here and there.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, and it ends midnight, whatever. That's over.
And it's not every weekend,
Yeah.
and maybe once a month, but it's literally, I mean, it ran us out of our afternoon one day because it was so loud,
Yeah.
trying to be outside, and you can't, and our neighbors have.
Have you talked to them personally?
Huh?
Have you
Yeah,
talked to
said-
them
Oh,
personally?
yeah, I've talked to them, he's talked to them, we've all, several times, and it was like, okay, we'll turn the bass down.
I was last over there last Wednesday night, and I was upset, and I clearly was having a very direct conversation with him. And he said, it's my yard, I'll do what I want. He says, what are you gonna do, shoot me? And
An option.
I said, well,
Well, that's,
I can't say that because I was right in front of him. But, and his kid was there too. But the kids go to bed, and the adults start their,
So the kids can't be sleeping through that.
I don't know what to tell
I'll
you.
tell ya, they're there,
It's just,
crazy.
again,
Well, if there is a law on the books, maybe we should contact the sheriff's department and see if they can enforce it. What was that?
Penal law 240.
You know, so you might want to take that down, make a note of that penal law 240. And I've actually known situations where, I'm not necessarily recommending this, but people had high blood pressure, heart issues, et cetera, and so forth, actually brought litigation against the neighbors for damage, health damage, because it was aggravating their physical condition. That usually gets people's attention. because nobody wants to be
You don't want to pay.
fighting a litigation
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just getting to the point where it's fall and winter, and there's gonna be no reason to run the air conditioner. So it's just, again, you gave us a little bit to work with the sheriffs, and I will have a talk with them and see what their position is, and, you know, you hate to keep calling, because it's, you can get up and call and you can get satisfaction, but it's after you've already been jacked up to enormous heights of aggravation, because it's just not right. So, if you say that they have this law in place and they will enforce it, I guess we can live with that.
I don't know if they'll enforce it, they make their own decisions.
My suggestion to you is, when you call, you're getting a different person each time. So what I would do is I would contact the sheriff and say, I would like to talk to somebody about this intermittent problem and see if there's a way to resolve it. See if you can talk to a supervisor who's gonna come down from the sheriff, or will come down from the sergeant here, and then they'll say, this is the way I want you guys to handle it when you go there. And if they don't turn it down, you know, you can make an arrest. But, you know, I'm not 100% sure, I don't think the police will enforce town ordinances. The sheriff's department probably will.
Okay.
So, but, you know, you can talk to them and talk to the supervisor and just let them know, say, is there a way we can resolve this problem? And then it'll be handed down to the uniform guys who go there. You won't be getting a different guy each time who just wants to go up there and quiet it down for you, because that's what you asked. And then they go about their, you know, they go about their day, you know? So, just, I wasn't a law enforcement, so I know how that kind of works, even from a supervisor's position. Instead of getting a new guy each time, you just, you know, just go over and ask if you've got a meeting with someone, you know? And both, the state troopers will handle it, you know, they're good guys, actually, both my sons are troopers. And, but the sheriff's department, in this situation, might be a better agency.
He as well said that, the truth said it might be more of a sheriff's detail that he would be able to work, but again.
Yeah, they have more officers, like right here, the state police have a couple officers, and they're handling Schenectady County and Superior County. And the sheriff has more deputies.
That's exactly right. They don't have that many, police on, state police doesn't have that many on.
And they cover a huge area.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got like, I don't know, 2 cars, Jack, I'm assuming.
Well, at the midnight, they'll have 2 guys in a car.
Yeah, and they gotta do 2 counties. They do Schoharie, part of Schoharie, and all of Schenectady County.
And the sheriff, he actually worked with me at the Rotterdam Police Department, and, you know, he understands neighborhood issues very well. And so he passes that information down to everyone in his department. He likes to have peace, and, you know, he'll certainly work with you.
Yeah, I know a lot of these guys are at the store that we run in Waynesburg for lunch, bathroom breaks and everything,
Yeah.
but I don't pick their brain or try to bother them while they're having their lunch, but I will.
Yeah, just
Go down and try to get a meeting.
They just need to be handed a policy. All the uniform guys need to be handed a policy
Yeah.
from the upper management saying, this is the way I would like this handled, so that they can resolve it, you know? They're not looking to, you know, arrest people. They're just gonna tell them, well, you can't do this, you can go this far, and see if you can handle it that way. That's probably the best way to do it.
Alright. Okay, so we'll close the privilege of the floor up at 8:30. I guess we already did that.
You did.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Councilmember Cummings?
Anything else,
That was me, it's Jim's turn.
Jim?
No, I just wanted to comment about that.
No? I've got nothing else, so we don't need an executive session, so nothing going on. Ready to close the meeting? For a motion?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
Who seconded?
Second?
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Abruzzo? Councilman Gray? Councilman Mora? Supervisor Esposito?
Oh, yes, yes.
8:31, looks good, right?